Kylian Mbappe is about to win the Champions League. They aren't words of mine, but the words of a certain guest that's here, Mr Singh, who kept saying to me all the time that PSG are going to do this, Mbappe are going to do this. And in the video we dropped a couple of weeks ago about the title race, he did exactly say those words. But the question is, who's actually going to win the Champions League? Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sani-That sports guy talking all things sport. And of course, today we're previewing the Champions League semi-finals. We've got Real Madrid against Bayern Munich. We've got PSG versus Dortmund. But the question is, who comes out on top? Joining me today are two very esteemed guests, or should I say friends, that are backed by popular demand because of you lot. And that is, of course, Manraj and Mr Singh. And I'm going to come to Mr Singh straight with this one, because he mentioned Mbappe a couple of weeks ago will win them the Champions League. But the question is, who wins the Champions League? Is it still Mbappe and PSG for you, Mr Singh?
Listen, you can call me a romantic, but for me, the parting gift of the club's best player in the history, I think he'll single-handedly win them the final, just like he nearly won France the final in the World Cup last summer, or 2 summers ago, was it? 2 winters ago?
2 winters ago, yeah, I was going to say. Yeah.
But I think Mbappe will get PSG over the line. And I want it because, for me, it'll be the crowning legacy of what a great player he's been at such a young age.
So you think PSG will actually beat Dortmund over 2 legs?
Why not? They beat Barcelona.
I mean, PSG are known to be that team that went under the pressure.
No, wrong. That Barcelona game would have been an example of that pressure they fall under, but they won that game.
But they played against 10 men, I must say. A large period of that game.
4 years ago, they had a 6-0 lead over Barcelona, and then they threw that away. What I'm saying is, this PSG is different. And I think Enrique helps, if I'm honest, because basically he's somebody who's been there and done it in the sense that he knows the pressure.
Are you saying the same things when they're in the group stage where they're struggling against a Newcastle where, let's be honest, that Liverpool handball would have changed things massively?
Yeah, but listen, the group stage can catch anybody out. It's a knockout games, matter.
But now they're playing Dortmund, a team that actually facing the group stages, that, you know, it's going to be very interesting. I obviously said that Atletico Madrid were going to win the whole bloody thing, just like Manraj, who I will get on to next, but, you know, Atletico Madrid went to Dortmund. Dortmund beat
Don't you think Mbappe's X factor that nobody else has?
Well, he wasn't an X factor in that game against Barca, if we're being honest. And Manraj, I'm going to come to you with this one. Do you honestly think Mbappe is that X factor?
He will be the X factor because he's a big game player. But in that game, for about 60, 70 minutes, he didn't really do much. And that's because Barcelona had the physical players to deal with him. And in elite European games, sendings off change the games. And,
they do.
And Vitinha, shout out to him. I think he's a top midfielder. I'm not sure why Wolves let him go, but he controlled that game, and people like Barcola and Dembele stood up. But I think against Dortmund, I think Mbappe will be too much for them. He'll provide, and I think he'll kill their right back.
That'll be a very tantalising match of Dortmund against, obviously, PSG. But the one player you did mention, Dembele, I want to give a massive shout out to him as well, because he went to Barca, the club that obviously he was there, didn't really work out, injuries, etc., etc. That game, and he was, I think, their best attacker, to be honest. So massive shout out to him.
Well done to him. It's good to see players that can turn their career around when they get ruined by a big club, because, you know, a lot of players have fallen, their career's fallen away when they go to one big club and their career doesn't go for it well.
He's still got a lot of work to do, Dembele. I think if he wants to get to that elite tier, he's got to have a bit more of a nastiness about him in terms of getting into the right areas to get goals. His goal against Barcelona is a great example, attacking the back post. He needs to do that more, but I think a big credit to Barcola. I thought he was excellent. He's a very, very young attacker, and I think there's big promise there with PSG. And also, you got Kolo Muani and Goncalo Ramos. Ooh. 2 attackers who can come off the bench and change games themselves.
See, it's interesting because PSG, we're not talking about Galacticos anymore. We're talking about young prospects for the future. And it's, you know, for me, it's the best way to run a club. And I think future holds bright for PSG.
I mean, there was one thing you mentioned, Manraj, I think is really interesting. I know we're talking about this year's Champions League semi-final, but a team that, and we did speak about it on the day, but a team that obviously were down to 10 men about 10 or 12 years ago and probably produced the greatest ever result ever, Chelsea against Barcelona 2012. One of the only teams I can remember where Chelsea were down for 10 men at the Nou Camp against that Barcelona side, managed by Pep Guardiola, with Lionel Messi in his prime, and they managed to do it. What were your thoughts of that, Mr Singh?
It's funny because I said this to Manraj, the past away joke. I said it was the best semi-final performance in the history of the Champions League.
Even over like a Roy Keane Man United against Juventus, Stadio del Alpi, for example.
To be at the Nou Camp, and don't think that Chelsea team wasn't the best. A lot of their players were past their
veterans, a lot of veterans, yeah.
And that Chelsea team, and for me, it's that Ramirez goal.
I say this all the time as well.
It's what a player that guy could have been. What player that guy could have been. But the nonchalance of that finish,
unbelievable finish.
That Lampard pass, you watch carefully. 3 players around Lampard.
That was a great pass on the swivel, reverse pass, beautiful pass.
What I'm saying is
unbelievable.
And also, you know what I love? Yeah, if you watch the highlights, because I was watching them for some reason a few weeks ago. Didier Drogba was in the right back position.
Yeah, he was.
Like, where have you heard of a centre forward defending a right back position, because he wanted that win. What I'm saying is, just everything about that game, the
Yeah.
character, the bottle, the desire, I loved it. And for me, that Champions League win over Di Matteo, it doesn't get talked about enough because he went with Bayern Munich at home.
Yeah,
Wasn't it a German
Stadium,
final?
Allianz Arena.
You know, like Bayern Munich around Barcelona back-to-back wins. Come on.
I'm still flabbergasted to this day how Bayern didn't win that final, if I'm being honest.
Why am I not saying- why am I
your
saying Di
partner's
Matteo?
team
Why am I not saying Di Matteo were a gangster? Di Matteo were a
Yeah,
gangster?
we
Nobody
give
says that.
Yeah,
Give him his dues. He won the double. He beat Liverpool
Yeah,
in
beat
the
FA Cup final
Yeah.
with a great check save. Remember that?
Andy Carroll.
But for me, what was good about the Champions League because I felt there was a bit of self-entitlement that everybody thought Arsenal get through, Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I'll put my hands up. I thought
Man
they
City
were
will
gonna
get through Real Madrid, and there's a bit of justice that the two proper giants of European football, Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, you know, because Man City and also plastic in the European sense, but proper giants on the semi-final is good.
You speak about giants, and you mentioned 2012, and it's funny because Bayern made the final, but they faced Real Madrid in the semi-finals. And I don't know if you guys remember, or if you guys watching remember, but that semi-final two-leg was some of the best football I've ever seen between those two sides. The fact that both those sides weren't in the final is unbelievable. But now we're obviously here this season. We've got Real Madrid against Bayern. You touched upon it. Everyone, including myself, thought, okay, Arsenal, Man City have got this. But when you have that heritage, that pedigree, it comes through. And Real Madrid, Bayern, that's going to be an incredible two legs. What are your thoughts on that two-legger?
Monster clash. I think, in my lifetime watching the Champions League, that's probably been the biggest game. Every year, it's always Real Madrid, Bayern, semi-final, quarter-final. It's the biggest European game for me because you just see them every year, always performing. It'll be a really tactical clash. I know Thomas Tuchel, knockout football in Europe, he finds a way to do it. Against Arsenal, he pinpointing their fullbacks, we're going to kill him. And he did it over two legs and ultimately got the win. Don Carlo, he's going to have a plan as well. I think to do the same thing, overload Kimmich and Mazraoui with Vinicius and Rodrigo and combination play. It'll be interesting, but that first leg for Bayern Munich, they've got to win that first leg.
So, Mr. Singh, can Real Madrid go to Bayern and get a win? That's the question. Obviously, away goals are irrelevant now in the Champions League, but can they go there and get a win? And inflict that psychological blow?
I think you've got to give respect to Ancelotti's name, man. What a gangster manager. His Champions League record is bulletproof. And for me, I can't look past him. If anybody else was there in that hot seat, apart from maybe say Zidane, I would have said, I'm not sure, but I think Ancelotti's got that factor that, and I think that's why Real Madrid brought him back to be manager. Because he's got that factor of been there and done it, and I think he'll do the biz for them.
Could do.
And for me, I don't understand. I don't watch the Bundesliga inside out, but I've seen Bayern Munich throw away 2-0 leads in German games. You know, struggled to win some of the rubbish teams in that league. But against Arsenal, it wasn't even a contest. So I'm surprised that Bayern Munich have that level they can switch on. Where in a quarterfinal of the Champions League, they're on it. But I think Real Madrid, being top of their own domestic league, being Man City, who people say are the best team in Europe, I think you got to say the favourites, isn't it?
Would you say the same as well, Manraj?
Yeah, Real Madrid are favourites, but I think we're Bayern, just the quality all around. But I think their two big misses will be Gnabry and Coleman, which are going to be huge misses for them. I just can't see can Kane, Sane, and Musiala do it themselves, because I think Gnabry and Coleman give you that goal-scoring threat from wide positions, which Bayern will probably lack over those two legs.
So we've got Real Madrid and PSG making the final. Obviously, this is a semi-final preview, but if you had to put your money on it, who's winning that final? Is PSG going to win the Champions League? And is Mbappe going to go to Real Madrid with a medal? Or is he going to Real Madrid off the back of them winning the Champions League? Mr. Singh, who's winning that final?
All I'm going to say is this. The World Cup final, 2-0 down. One guy brought France back into it. And I think in this final, if PSG get there, he'll do the same. Mbappe himself will win the trophy.
He said it before, and he said it again. So there you have it. And Manraj, who is winning it? Real Madrid or PSG?
It's going to be a special return back to England for Jude Bellingham, I think.
There are your answers to who wins the Champions League. And who knows, maybe they might be surprised. Dortmund might prang something up. Maybe Bayern Munich with Harry Kane finally wins a trophy. Obviously, that remains to be seen this week and obviously next week as well, where we have the second legs. But they are our thoughts. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And do you actually agree with Mr. Singh that Mbappe will win them the Champions League? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Share with your friends and family. And if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. But as always, until next time, peace.